what's new with you guys? I got a new camera and I feel like I've been like filming in my room so much that I'm like kind of bored of it and the background, but this is my living room. It's nothing fancy, but it is very cute and it is mine. So yeah, maybe I'll do a house tour soon. I don't really know. I live in a 1-bedroom apartment. My cat sometimes walks around, so you might see her in the background. I just wanted to say thank you so much for your love on my previous videos. I really appreciate it. Today I just wanted to talk to you guys about sort of my jobs before YouTube, I guess, when I was going to school and stuff like that, and maybe talk about some tips on how you can land jobs and whatnot. For the longest time, you know, I had to work full-time and part-time at some jobs while I was going to school and sort of paying for other things. I already applied the serum right here today. This is the COSRX Pure 20% Vitamin C. This serum really like helps brighten up the skin. It's the COSRX and Sokoglam collaboration. Hold on. Sorry, it's kind of like... Okay, that's better. It's a really potent vitamin C serum. It just helps brighten up my skin. Sometimes when I forget to use it, I go back to it and I'm like, wow, it really works. I actually just went to the gym, got back, cleaned up, and you know, I take pre-workouts when I go to the gym too, so it's a lot of caffeine, and sometimes that dehydrates me, so I need to like... I'm also like addicted to caffeine, I think. Like, I have a cup of coffee here with almond milk. I'm gonna start out with like this mild block. You know, I love the Apu sunblocks, so I tried this. I'm gonna try this one. This is the Apu Pure Block Mild Plus Cream. It's a physical sunscreen as well. Let's see if it's as good as the MADECASSOSIDE one that I like so much. When I first came to America, I didn't work for 6 months just because, you know, I was just like acclimating and also getting used to transportation. I was pretty much at home, like just studying all the time, and that's when I actually grew up on this website called Asian Unity and Soompi. I don't know if you guys know it, but when I wasn't working, I used to go on there and just chat with people, just because I didn't have any friends when I first like moved here, and I moved to West Covina. Yeah, I just crashed with my sister and her roommates, and I stayed in the in the living room. Yeah, I couldn't really afford anything else because I didn't have money. And then I learned how to take the bus, and if you're in LA or like anywhere near Southern California, you know how terrible the bus is. It was always late and it stressed me out a lot, actually, like going to school and stuff. So that was a really not happy couple months of my life, I guess I would say. After a while, I learned how to drive, and then also my sister gave me her old car because she got a new one, and then things got a little bit better, I guess, because, you know, after you learn how to drive, it's sort of like freedom, I guess, to go places. So I applied to my first job. I didn't have any experience at all, and I was going to community college at the time. So I was like, oh, I don't know what I can do because I don't have like any credentials, literally. I applied to this boba place, and it's in West Covina. It's called Tapioca Express. I don't know if you guys are familiar with boba, but those are like the drinks with pearls in them, like black pearls. I used to love to drink boba, but only just like the green tea, like a sugar-free green tea. I was really conscious of my health too, and there were a lot of sugary drinks. So my first job was actually as a boba barista, and oh my gosh, it was really actually quite labor intensive. Making the teas and stuff, it's crazy. Like the tea, I guess like the containers of the tea is like tin metal, and it's like literally this tall, this big, and it's like this wide. So it's filled with water and hot water, and then you brew the tea, and then you have to sort of pour it into a strainer into another container. So even carrying that required a lot of strength. So yeah, it was a really labor intensive job, and my old boss was not the most generous person, to be honest, because I feel like he hired people that, you know, had no experience, and he knew it was entry level. So we didn't get any free drinks or anything, and sometimes on the weekends when it was really busy, we only had 2 people manning the whole entire store. And then for the last hour, I would man it alone, just because, I mean, I got most of the hours because I didn't have any friends. So I think he liked me because of that. So he let me open and close, and sometimes it was too much, you know, like even though I needed the money, I feel like I put in too much in work. While I was working there too, I took the bus also. So yeah, actually yeah, I actually got that job before I learned how to drive. So I do know how to make all the milk teas and the jasmine milk teas and Thai tea. I know how to make slushies and all that stuff, just because yeah, I've done it. I worked the hardest because, I mean, it was my first job. I really wanted to try, so I didn't take time off. I actually missed a couple of things from school because I put so much emphasis on the job. Oh, I'm using the COSRX concealer. They're really good when you're breaking out because they contain like centella, and the coverage is high, so it's really, really high. I used the Apu one detergent pack, you know, my favorite. That one doesn't break me out, and I'm glad a lot of you guys like it. The COSRX one has one shade darker for medium skin tones if you guys are looking for that. And if you guys have any like recommendations for cushions that are darker, let me know so I can like tell everyone what to use. What was my next job? Honestly, it's such a blur to me. Oh, after that I moved to like Rowland Heights area, which is like close to Walnut and stuff like that, because I went to Mount Sac. I was like, you know, I sort of need to make a little bit more money, and this is really, really tiring. Well, I wanted to continue working there, but everybody told me the smarter choice was to find another job, and like a serving job. At the Boba place, I didn't earn much tip because, you know, people don't really tip at Boba places, so that was that. Not that I minded though, because, you know, I was really, really, I was really thankful to even have a job. And I worked at this place called Tokyo Shabu Shabu, and it's like a shabu place, and if you guys don't know what shabu is, it's really, really tasty. It's hot pot, and like you get your individual hot pots, so every person has a pot. Serving is actually really, really tiring. I was first a host, so I applied as a host because I don't have any server experience. So one way, if you want to get a server job, you can apply as a host first, and then I guess like get experience and sort of learn how the restaurant works. And then after a while, if you're confident, you can sort of train and apply to be a server, so you can earn like tips. I was like a greeter, you know, I made sure that everybody was like seated well, and I brought out the checks for people, I closed out the checks. And then after that I became a server, and serving is very tiring. You deal with a lot of difficult things, but for like hourly and like an entry level job wise, it's pretty good money. I think the highest was like 100 plus per night, including your base pay, so it's pretty good. Generally, the more expensive the food is, the higher people will tip, just because people tip by percentage. I met a lot of people, or a lot of nice people that, you know, some of them wanted to go to school more, some of them actually had a family. So it was a very good experience because you get to deal with a lot of people. When you're serving, you talk to a lot of people and you learn a lot about people. So I really enjoyed that. I would say though, like during the rush hours, serving is like crazy, and after being in the service industry, I definitely have a lot of respect for people that work in the service industry, just because of how like demanding it is, and sometimes people really like don't understand. Like, I don't mean to generalize, but like I think like middle-aged white women were the most like entitled in terms of like serving and waiting and all. They just couldn't wait. They're very impatient. And again, I don't want to generalize, but that's just my experience. Obviously, I don't speak for anyone at all, everyone. That's just personally my experience, because they would get mad if I couldn't give them like a discount or a coupon, and then they would also get mad if they don't get seated. But you know, very obviously there's like a seating chart. You'll get seated when your name is called. Like, I'm like sort of when I'm busy serving, they would like stop me. Some people would just stop me and ask to be seated, and I'm like, well, there's no open seats. I don't know what you want me to do. So after working in the restaurant industry, I definitely understand a little bit more. I remember one time oh my god, there's so much work. Like, carrying those trays was just so heavy, but you know, you want to carry out as much things as you can, so you know, you don't have to go back and forth. But that's just me. I walk really fast, and like while I was serving, I feel like I lost weight and I was really fit. One time I carried a beer, and it was my first week, I think, and I tripped and I spilled all over the floor, and everybody like gasped, and like just like I felt so embarrassed. They just stared at me for a good like 5 seconds, and nobody said anything because it was just in shock. Like, the beer was everywhere and like it was shattered. I felt so embarrassed. Like, it's the worst feeling. It's almost the same feeling like, you know, when you're singing really loudly in a car and you sing a song, like the lyrics wrong. Yeah, that's how embarrassing it is. I was like, oh. I went to the back and I sort of like, I think I cried for a good 2 minutes. All my server friends told me it was okay, like it's not a big deal, like people forget it. But to me, I thought like, oh my god, people are gonna think I'm like such a klutz now, but they're like, no, it's not a big deal at all, really. I'm gonna go in with this palette, by the way. This is the Glossy Play eyeshadow palette. It's really good for like fall and winter because of how warm the tones are and a lot of browns. Another crazy moment was when a customer, because I wouldn't give them like a $5 off for their meal, and their meal was like really expensive. I think their meal was like $80 or something, and I wouldn't give them $5 off. I remember this because it was so traumatic to me. This guy, he was a really big burly guy with his family there, and he got so pissed that I couldn't give the coupon. But then I explained like, sir, I just work here, like I don't make the rules, you know, the boss is the one that like decides which coupons I can give or not give. Like I'm just, you know, I'm just the bitch, you know. And so he like stood up and he actually like went in front of me and like almost bumped me, and I was like, whoa, like there's no need to like. So then like his family was like, whoa, like chill out, cool down. And I was like, I was really scared. And I don't know, I'm a pretty timid and shy person. I'm generally pretty nice. Like, I was just really taken aback that somebody would do that to somebody for $5. So that was a crazy time. So yeah, that was my serving experience. I was there for about like 3 years. I really liked the people that I worked with, some of them. That's why I stayed for so long. And then I went to Davis for school, and then I, you know, dropped out because it really wasn't for me. I tried to find a job because, you know, I realized I didn't want to do the whole school thing. So I tried to find a job in beauty, and I applied to like Macy's and Nordstrom and Benefit and all those places. But I never really got hired just because I don't have retail experience. And you know, in order to land a job in retail, they require you to have retail experience. And I'm like, how am I gonna get a job with retail experience in retail when I don't have retail experience? Like, that's the biggest mystery to me. Like, how do people want you to have experience but not hire you when you don't have experience? I was living in LA at the time because I was crashing my friend's place, and then I had to apply like 40 minutes away to a Sephora because that's the only one that responded to my responded to my message. So they have like a group interview process, and then once you're like narrowed down, they have like a regular interview, just one-on-one. And I remember the manager, she was a really sweet woman, and for my interview I really just told her everything about my life, like why I'm here, and I told her like I really have nothing else. And at that moment I wasn't close to my family because, you know, I was just really like disappointed in myself, and I feel like they were disappointed in me too for dropping out. But we're okay now. I really love my family, and I got closer to my brother. So at that time though, I wasn't. So I just told her everything. I was like, you know, I don't really have a relationship with them that well, and I just need a job because I have nothing and just school debt. And really, like, I tried as hard as I could to be professional in terms of like an interview, but sometimes it's just good to be a human and tell them how, you know, why you need the job and stuff when they ask you. I literally told her like I love beauty, and I told her like I'm up to all the trends because I love it, and I'm on Instagram, I watch all the YouTubers. And she asked me like, okay, what's trendy now? And I was like, at that time it was all like clean skincare, organics. So I was like, you know, essential oils and like organic skincare is in at the moment, like green skincare. And at that time it was with kbeauty too. So then she was very impressed and she hired me. So I worked at Sephora for, I would say, a month. I really enjoyed the people. Everybody there was super sweet actually. So I just felt like it was too different from what I imagined. I initially went in to want to do makeup and beauty, but I got placed in skincare. So, you know, I love skincare and I love talking to you guys about skincare, but working there made me feel like a salesperson because, you know, like on like certain days and weeks they would push certain products. So I felt like it was difficult for me to do that because I only, you know, like for me, like I only like certain brands and review brands, but in Sephora there's so many brands that, you know, you sort of have to give them all a first shot because I'm trying to like sell product, right? And so that didn't feel really like authentically me, and it was really difficult for me to sell product when I don't use them. And a lot of people ask if like you get free makeup when working at Sephora. You do get free makeup, and you also get I think a 30% discount or something. So that was the best. Other than that, it was just nice to be around people that loved makeup and beauty. And the one at Santa Anita, they really loved it. I remember, I think that was around like the launch of Jacqueline's palette. Everyone was super excited. People would call in to like hold the products and stuff like that. I did enjoy my experience. It just got like too much retail to clean, rearrange stuff, and then when the store was not busy, there wasn't much to do but rearrange things. So that was that. And people will ask for samples a lot. I wouldn't want to take an eyeliner no matter how much it is, like when it's been like swatched by people, but people want it, and I have to tell them like, no, you can't really take it because it's store property. And they're like, well, it's almost out. I'm like, well, regardless, it's like it's considered stealing. And they were like, oh, I'm not stealing, this is like a tester, it's free. I'm just like, I'm sorry, I can't let you take that. And then some people like, oh my gosh, they think like I can't remember. So they will come like half an hour and they will ask for 3 samples, and that's all I have. Like I can give you 3 samples only. And then they will come back in like half an hour later, walking around the mall I guess, and they'll ask for like more samples. And I was like, sorry ma'am, like you were just here and I gave you like a sample of that eye cream already. And they were like, no, that wasn't me, like you didn't give me that eye cream. And I would be like, oh my god, I can't deal. So I'll just give it to them, like I can't really like deal. We did have to meet a quota to make a certain number of sales, so that was a little bit stressful, but overall it was really fun. The brands would come in and we would have like competitions to see who would sell like the most products, so that was really fun. By the way, I'm using this 3CE matte lipstick. It's so pretty. Oh my gosh, it's the color Mellow Flower. The name is so pretty too. I usually like to use a lip balm under it. Wow, it's so pretty. It's like a rosy, orangey, but rosy at the same time. And then I worked at a salon in Beverly Grove area doing eyelash extension. Some of you might have seen like Joan's vlog. I used to do her eyelashes and a bunch of other people, and it was really fun. It was a fun experience. I think it was very service based. The clients would come in and you would talk to them. I think for me, what I liked about it was because I got like one-on-one time with my clients, and it sort of felt like therapy. They came back every 2-3 weeks to get their refills on eyelashes. So yeah, I really enjoyed it actually. People were nice. Overall, I think it wasn't for me either, because what I like to do was create content, and you know, the reason why I quit was because I was too busy doing that, so I couldn't focus on like YouTube and content, which is what I loved. But overall, all these jobs were like great like stepping stones to where I am today. And sometimes people, it's not easy to just like go full-time on YouTube and social media. I really respect people that can do that and are able to, like really great for them. But for me, like financially it was just not viable. And you know, like when I quit school, I had close to 10 grand in debt, so there's no way I could just like, I couldn't even afford like a good camera, so there's no way I could just like do YouTube. But if you're thinking about doing YouTube as a career, you can like start small and upload 1 video a week and see how you like that. For me, it was really difficult. Well, I was in the best mental state because I was not happy with what I was doing, so I couldn't even do that. Like, I would just upload like once a month or something. I don't regret anything, and I'm really thankful for everybody that gave me the opportunity and believed in me. I always remember people that hired me. Like, I remember all of them, just because it feels different, like somebody looking into your eyes and telling you like, I want you, like I trust you. You know, in terms of like job interviews and stuff, I would say have a good resume and an honest resume. Just be honest with who you are and what you can offer and why you want a job. Sometimes when people ask like, why do you want to work here, I would just say, quite honestly, like, I love this and I really need the money and I'll work really hard. We're all human, you know, we all make mistakes. Like, don't beat yourself up if you don't get this one or the next one. You just keep going. Like, for me to get that Sephora job, I applied to 20 places, like Macy's, Nordstrom, Sephora, like 20 of them. Only one got back to me. It was just a lot until somebody actually hired me. So don't give up. It's, you know, like, the journey is part of life. Like, it's the climb, like just like Miley says. And the funny thing about job applications and I guess applying for jobs in general is that while I was applying for jobs, on my resume I put Ivan instead of like my Chinese name. My Chinese name is Lik Jen. I had to put like an English name just so that, you know, I would like be perceived as an English speaker, which kind of sucks, because just because I have a Chinese name doesn't, like, you can't assume anything about me. And I remember on phone interviews I would put on my, like, I guess erase as much as I could my accent so that people would assume that I am like an American or a California American. So those parts always like troubled me and made me really discouraged about being Asian. I'm very obviously, like, when you see me in person, like, I can't hide, like, I'm Asian, hello. I just need to make a living, like, to make ends meet. It's very simple. I was, you know, like, as poor as 3 Jack in the Box meals because it was $3 a day, or the time I would treat myself, it was like a Chipotle. Like, but less than $10. Like I would split it into 3 meals just because the burritos were so huge. And then I would ask for like a tortilla on the side just so I could like recreate another roll at night. I always remember, I think it's good to remember where you came from and remember like the hustle, you know, and continue hustling because everybody's going through something, and I just want to like continue working towards my happiness and, you know, what makes me happy. And being able to sit in front here and talk to you and create is like, I'm really grateful for that, and I'm so glad you guys are there with me along the way since all this time ago. And I didn't speak about a lot of it just because I felt like it wasn't like cool or it wasn't fun or anything like that, but I feel like now I want to share a lot more about my life because not everyone's life about all you see on YouTube is like glamorous and like beautiful, and you know, like people think we live such like lavish lives, and maybe some of them do, like I'm not gonna lie, like some of them probably do, but for me, like I've always been working to get where I am and have what I have, and I want to share that with you because I feel like not a lot of people share that kind of day-to-day stuff. So okay, I'm just gonna finish this with this mist I got from Sokoglam. It's the AC Well mist. It's so nice. It's a licorice toner, so it brightens up the skin, and it's also like a slightly acidic, so it's pH balanced. It's like a really fine essence. You can set your makeup and use it as a toner. I hope you enjoyed this little like chit chat, and let me know if you like this setup better, or like the bedroom setup, or just want me to like move around the house. I will definitely do more of these get ready with me's. I'm actually going to pick my mom up at the airport right now. She's visiting from Malaysia, so I'm gonna be hanging out with her. But thank you guys so much for listening and chilling with me. Don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe, and let me know your experience in job hunting or your jobs and what you learned from it. This is the makeup. It's very orangey and warm, peachy. Really love it. So thank you for watching. My legs are I was kneeling the entire time, so my legs are like, oh my god, I can't even get up. Oh freak.